we are going to be diving into a breath experience where you'll be able to have embody the breath patterns that we were talking about earlier. A breath pattern that will help energize you, and then at the end, a breath pattern that will help calm the nervous system and help with integration. And the process will take about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to see how people's bodies respond. But before we do this, I like to, especially because we're on Zoom and I don't have physical access to you. I like to err on the side of safety. So if you have any of these contraindications that I'm listing, know that you can stay and listen and just breathe your normal breath, and you'll still benefit from the experience. However, I'm going to ask you not to engage in the full stimulating breath pattern. And so if you have a diagnosis of bipolar schizophrenia, cardiovascular disease, any acute heart conditions, epilepsy, glaucoma, detached retina, diagnosed brain or abdominal aneurysms, uncontrolled diabetes, thyroid conditions, high blood pressure, or a delicate pregnancy, or if you're in the first trimester of your pregnancy, I'm going to ask that you just witness and open your heart to love and breathe very gently. And if you don't have any of those diagnoses, then I encourage you to experiment with the breath pattern and know that I'm going to give you suggestions and coach you, but you really are in charge of your experience, and that when we start to circulate the breath, you may experience tingling sensations or lightheadedness. This is why I encourage people to lie down. If you're driving, if I can't see everybody's image, so if you are listening to this and you're driving, please do not please do not do this while you're driving or operating any type of equipment. So you are in charge of your experience. So I'm going to encourage you to create the rhythmic open mouth breath that I'm about to guide you into. And at any point that it feels like you feel like you've had enough, then just pull back on the throttle and just slow the breath down so that it feels comfortable to you. Okay. And I'm going to have Patrick, were you thinking that maybe Laura could be that I could guide Laura through the experience so people could, Laura, are you up for that? I should talk directly to Laura. You're right there.
I have none of the conditions that you mentioned, and
excellent.
With breathwork, having learned some of it in my yoga teacher training. So probably not what you're going to share, but maybe something that makes me ready for that.
Excellent, excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to guide Laura through this experience, and then when you're ready, you can go ahead and follow along with the guidance that I'm giving Laura. And then I'll be peeking in, and I will be, if I see something that I want to attend to, in the people who have their camera on, I'll say your name. So it's, for instance, George, if I am watching your breath and would like you to breathe more up into your heart, I'll say, George, place a hand on your heart, or I invite you to place a hand on your heart. Yes. And then, so I'll say your name when I'm speaking directly to you. Otherwise, if you don't hear me say a name, I'm just speaking to the entirety of the group. Okay. So let me close down this and focus on Laura and Patrick. Okay, so if everybody wants to get in a comfortable position, I invite you to place your hand on your one hand below your belly button and one hand up on your heart. And just notice, sometimes when we go to put our hand on the heart, we actually lift our elbows off the surface. Go ahead and drop your elbows back down so that they are supported by the surface below you. There we go. And I invite you to drop your mouth open as if you just saw two dolphins jumping out of the ocean. And that's the positioning of the mouth. Allow the jaw to drop open and begin to breathe in and out the mouth. That's it, circulating the breath. And this is diaphragmatic breath if the abdomen is rising first. So Laura, taking that breath in, feeling the abdomen rise, and then just let it fall out. Good. And breathing back in, feeling that breath expanding the abdomen, expanding the low back, and let it fall out. Good. And then bringing it right back in, expanding the abdomen, the low back. And now let's engage the rib cage and feel the rib cage expanding as well. Beautiful. And again, we breathe down into the lower abdomen, low back, rib cage, and now the shoulder blades separate slightly. And so we bring the breath all the way up into the behind the shoulder blades, expanding and lifting the heart. That's it. And now we're circulating that breath, inhalation to exhalation. And I invite everyone to begin to do this. That's it. Allowing the breath to go in and out the mouth. And the exhale is a relaxed exhale. We're not extending it or lengthening it. We're not forcing it out. It's just as if the gravity's taking it. That's it. And I'm noticing some people are yawning, and this is wonderful. This is wonderful. The yawn is the body's way of releasing more tension, allowing more breath to come into the body. It's a reset of the nervous system. So if you have yawns that are happening, go ahead and exaggerate them. Really stretch and open up, allowing that yawn to come forth. The yawns are welcome here. Good. That's it. Keeping that breath circulating. Beautiful. That's it. Good. Feeling that breath in the lower half of your body. Good. Brandon in the blue shirt, I invite you to put a little more pressure on the lower hand and really feel the abdomen rising first before the upper chest muscles engage. That's it. It's one big wave of breath, but it originates in the lower half. Good. Good. And Zane, feeling that breath in the back of the body as well as the front, feeling the expansion of the breath. In the back of the body, the sides of the body. Excellent. Good. That yawning is beautiful. Good. Circulating the breath. Yes. Good. And you may even be feeling it down into the pelvic floor. As the diaphragm drops, it compresses all the internal organs, putting compression down to the pelvic floor, into the low back. You're getting an internal massage here as the diaphragm drops down and draws the breath into the body. And playing around with the speed. If we increase the volume and the speed, it creates more energy moving through. Good. That's it. Feeling it in the abdomen, the front and the back, the side rib cage. The rib cage expands out to the side. The shoulder blades slightly separate, and then the exhale is just falling out. Good. And just notice if there's a little tension in the upper chest, as if you breathe in, if you feel that it's a little bit tight there, I invite you to join me with this sound. I'm going to move my microphone so I don't blast everybody. It's the ah sound, and the ah sound really helps to open the heart and get the energy flowing. So I encourage you to experiment with this. Just notice how the breath feels right now. And if you are in a place where you can make some noise, I invite you to make the ah sound with me. Here we go. Ah. And taking another nice deep breath in, we'll do it again. And one more time, deep breath in. Oh, keep that going, and go ahead and give your body a wiggle and shake. Imagine that you are a happy puppy. I invite you to wag your tail and let the whole body shimmy as you make the sound. And if the corners of your mouth curve up, or if you start to giggle, this is a-okay. Keep that breath moving now. Notice if it feels different now that you've made some sound and wiggled and shaked. And if you enjoyed that, go ahead and wiggle and shake and make even more sound. This is your session. When you shimmy like that, it just allows the tension to release. You shimmy and make a sound, even more energy moves. And then go ahead and come back into the breath and feel if there's any changes that have happened because of your movement. Good. Good, good, good. And now I invite you to switch to a nose breath. We're going to switch to a nose breath now. We have the energy moving. We did a little bit of a release with the sound and the movement. And now we're asking the body to calm and center. So breathing ever so slowly in through the nose, filling every nook and cranny of your torso. In this particular part, we fill up as much as we possibly can as we breathe in through the nose. Hold for a second or two and then begin to exhale the same way, letting it all out. And then repeating, breathing in through the nose again. Good. And after your next cycle of inhalation and exhalation, as you empty out the breath, once you get to that empty space, I invite you to stay there in the emptiness for as long as your body is willing. Stay in that empty space. The body will let you know when it needs another breath. So the moment you notice the body's like, oh, I could breathe again, go ahead and take your breath in and allow your eyes to float open. And begin to breathe your natural rhythm. Good. And once your eyes are open and you're breathing your natural rhythm, I invite you to slowly, ever so slowly, make your way to a seated position. There you go. Thank you for those who turn on their camera. It's such a treat to watch everyone breathe. Excellent. Good, good. I invite you to open your eyes and come back in. Yeah. And there we go. I would love to hear from people how they're feeling in this moment, what they noticed or learned about their breath from that exercise.
So Laura's raising her hand. I'm unmuting.
Excellent. Go ahead, Laura, and then we'll do Zane. And I think, who is the other person waving?
Patricia.
Patricia. There we go. Thank you.
So I practice Dirgaslasam daily. That's a yogic breath pattern that is the 3-part yogic breath. However, I have never done it with an open mouth. And I noticed a shift of consciousness breathing through the open mouth that felt more connected to the earth. And I tend to be a little bit cerebral. Everyone's laughing. I'm a lot cerebral. I feel like adopting the open mouth breath, it could really enhance my natural long, deep breath patterns and help me stay more on this plane than where I normally exist, somewhere up in the ether. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing. Yes. And Zane.
What it did for me, the feeling I have is an evenness throughout the body. Like there's no tension or excess or deficiency. It's all uniform inside. It's like, it's almost like I go beyond the body because everything is in it feels like in a suspended state. And it's very similar to this Qigong practice I do, and it's called The Universe Trembles. And you just bounce up and down on your knees and just keep doing it and relaxing. And when you stop, you do that 5 minutes or so. And when you stop, it's the same kind of feeling. It's like homogenizes all the energies inside and harmonizes it with the universe. That's what I was feeling. It's like no longer feeling like this body floating in space. It's like just connected, more connected. So that was my experience.
Thank you, Zane, for sharing that. Beautiful. And Patricia.
Thank you. An old pain that I had years ago from the time I was 16 when we got hit by a milk truck and suffered from whiplash. And for years, I've gone in and out of chiropractic care as a result. Now, toward the end of our session here, what happened was I got a deep pain right there, and it came right back. And then a little, like a couple of minutes later, after I experienced the pain fully, it just totally disappeared. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for breathing into it. Yes.
That's great notice and great awareness, Patricia. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share?
Roger just raised his hand.
Feel more focused and alert. That's great.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you, Roger. Linda?
Hi. I've been loving breath work for quite some time now. I'm really enjoying this. I noticed you were doing a little toning, and I'm also wondering if you offer your private sessions to incorporate more toning in those sessions.
I had a little trouble understanding you. Can you say that again?
Sorry. This. I've enjoyed breath work for quite some time, and I noticed you were doing toning session. Do you offer Zooms, and do you incorporate toning in your sessions?
Yes. So I think what you just asked me was during individual sessions, do I incorporate the toning and do I offer them via Zoom? And the answer is yes and yes. The toning is probably one of my favorite parts of breathwork, and I really love utilizing it and supporting people in finding their voice. And yes, I offer Zoom sessions as part of my practice as well as in person. And if that wasn't what you asked, can you type your question into the chat box so I make sure that I got it right?
No, that was great. And okay. I'm trying to turn on my video, but I'm not having any luck here.
Linda,
no, I'm at a remote location.
Sure. Linda, I tried to facilitate helping the sound be better, and I asked that your video be turned off. So maybe it's now not going to come back on for you, but I think the connection might be better with your video off right now. So
okay.
Yeah, it sometimes
it is
less bandwidth. So I think we got the question, and
thank you.
Yeah,
great, thank you.
Rita's got a question. Please go ahead and unmute, Rita.
Oh, no question, just the thanks. I do a litany of balancing, stabilizing, and harmonizing practices all day, and this just optimized me even more. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Rita.
That's great. I'm so glad that was an enhancement for you. And Marianne, are you raising your hand? No. Okay,
but great. Reed is.
Yeah, Reed is, and then we got Peg in the chat. So
okay.
Great to hear from everybody. Thank you guys for participating. It's wonderful to hear your voices and your experiences. Go ahead, Reed.
Hi there. I just wanted to say thank you. I felt like I dropped very deeply into my body in a way that was much faster than I usually get there. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. And I'd love to piggyback off of that comment, and that I love utilizing what we just did. That short breathing exercise, I often do right before I'm going to meditate, because I feel like it brings me into that deepened state very quickly as a launch pad for the rest of my meditation practice. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Tara, do you want to give a synopsis of the comment in the chat? And,
let's see. It's quite a while since I've done breath work. I forgot how helpful it is. I had major abdominal surgery 2 weeks ago, and I'm feeling very tense. This helped me relax so much. Is that the question, or is that's the comment? Awesome. I love this. Yeah. After the body experiences that level of trauma, inviting in just an awareness of where the breath is going in the body and reclaiming the body, utilizing the breath, is such a healing practice. So I love that you experienced that. Yeah, thank you.
Marcia, yes. And
yes, I just want to thank you very, very much, and I feel much more relaxed. So
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah.
So I want to share something, Tara. You know, there's the type of trauma that Peg has experienced in her body.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the type of injury that Patricia experienced, and then, you know, that coming up. And then there's just like being a human being on this earth right now, and like trying to like wake up in the morning and stay sane all day and go to bed at night and feel connected to your heart and live. And it's a traumatic world right now. And we have a choice about how we experience that. And so, actually being in session with you right now for the first time in a really long time, like, oh my God, was my body happy to hear you tone? I'm like, oh, I forgot the toning. And then to wiggle my tail, it was an altogether different experience than what I've been giving myself over the last 2 weeks. So thank you for that. And like my sense of it is this deep connection to, it's mostly the backside of my body this time, my legs, my butt, my piriformis, places that I often have tightness and discomfort, but then all the way up the back of my shoulders and the back of my head and my crown chakra, like Zane was talking about, like the universe, what was your word, Zane? The universe bounces, or
the universe trembles.
Trembles. I feel my trembling self as so much love. Right? That's what I'm feeling right now as I'm participating in the rest of this conversation. And I think that's our nature. And that's what this community is about. Like, that's what Lavanya is about, is like remembering what it would be like to create a world from love together. And this is an example of how that feels for me. So thank you for, everything you've done. You guys, there were a lot of years where Tara was holding a shingle out in the world to engage in commerce as a breathwork practitioner. And the world was like, breathwork? Openness to spiritual development? What? And I'm going through and I'm like, this woman's amazing. And people are like, yeah, okay. And so she carried that torch for all these years to get to the day now where her practice is busy and it's hopping and she's making a difference in people's lives. And I just thank you for following your heart on that journey, Tara, and for getting here with all of your expertise embodied so you can presence love in my life and in everyone's life. It's extraordinary. So,
it's completely my pleasure and my honor to be here, and right back at you, in terms of that stick-to-itiveness, and just following the heart, knowing that it's guiding us in the right direction. So thank you for having me here. Yes.
Some people are going to want to follow up with you, and soon, guys, we're going to have Tara's services offered on lavanya.com, and you'll be able to go there and purchase them. And a portion of anything that you purchase will be gifted to our projects in the world and facilitating our community of love. But that's not up today. And so you're welcome to contact Tara directly. And Jen has put her link in the chat a couple of times. And, go to Tara and tell her you found us on Lavanya. But Tara, when people come to you, there's all different manners of configuration. Like, people can come and bring a whole family, and you can breathe a family, or you can breathe people individually, or you can have a group of people around a topic like love. We could have a workshop on a love marketplace creating this type of event. So how do people choose whether to work with you individually or in a group? And what are the offerings that you have to choose from?
Yeah, so I encourage everyone to go ahead and have a complimentary discovery session. This is a 20 to 30 minute offering that you can find on my website. And it just gives us an opportunity to meet face-to-face via Zoom, heart-to-heart, so I can hear about your experience. And from there, we can tailor the best path, whether it's to do only individual sessions or do a combination of individual and group, or possibly just group sessions. So the complimentary discovery session, I really, for me as a practitioner, really supports me in supporting you and guiding you in the right direction. So that would be the first step. Yes, and also on the website, if I saw someone saying the tail wiggling brought in great joy, on the website, if you download the free gift, it puts you on my mailing list, but the free gift is a 4-minute guided breath session, as well as a 9-minute guided breath session, and both of them involve tail wagging. So if you enjoyed that part, that's one of my favorite things, is to bring a little bit of joy into the sometimes seriousness of healing. So though that gift is available on the website as well, and that's breathawakening.com.
That's great. Thanks for letting us know where to find you. I'm going to share my last comment now, and then I'll turn it to you last to see if you have a last word, Tara. So
Okay.
When she talks about a discovery session, getting to know you, I lived right near Tara and got to interact with her in person for a long time. And as that matured, one of the themes that was clear in my life was that I was a windsurfer in the Atlantic Ocean, and I had a massive fear of sharks. Massive. It was terrifying for me. And there I was, plunking myself out in the water in my SEAL suit, saying, here's my booty, like, come and get me. And so, every time I couldn't get my sail out of the water to pop up on my board, I was in terror. And it ended up coming up in our relationship. And Tara and her teacher customized something for me. And they took me to a bay called Duxbury Bay in Massachusetts. And they breathed me in the water. Like they held my body up in the shallow water, and we did a breath session that was structured as a rebirthing session. And it was a really amazing experience. So if you're called to the love that Tara is, and you're called to breathe more in the style that she's leading, tell her what's on your mind and ask her for help. And what I know about her is that she'll be guided. Like it will come, her response will come through her, and it will be a connection between all of her lived life experience and whatever wants to be presenced in that moment. So I wholeheartedly recommend working with her if you're called in that direction. And regardless of how many people find you for individual work and group work, Tara, I just want to thank you from our community of people who want a loving way of life for humans, that you have touched us with love today and given us a palpable experience in our bodies. So thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. And I just want to thank each person who said yes and showed up here today to be part of this. I want to thank Patrick and Laura for creating this sacred space for us to come together and be the love that we are. So thank you for this opportunity to share the work, and I look forward to connecting with you all when you feel called to the work. Thank you.
Sounds beautiful. All right, everybody. Thanks for showing up. Lots of love to you, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye for now.